Karin from the Huntley Library, and we're back with 12 Days of Crafting. Today we are going to be making string stars, so we're going to gather up some supplies and then we can get started. Here's a look at the supplies that we're going to be using today. Basically you're just going to need some kind of string or twine, and I have this here, and some glue to get your star's shape all sketched out, I guess. And then you're going to need a star shape. So I've got a star template here, but you can also freehand a star if you want to use that instead. Something to tack your template onto. So you could use corkboard if you have that accessible, or I picked these up at Hobby Lobby, or some other craft store will probably have them. These are just cork coasters, and you need that, like I said, to tack your star design onto so that it can dry in place. And then I just have some push pins to hold it all together, and some plastic food wrap to go over the top of that so that my star doesn't get stuck to the cork or the paper. If you don't have the cork board, you could use a thicker piece of cardboard or possibly a piece of foam. I have this foam that something came packaged in, so if you have styrofoam or something like this at home, you could try that too. And some scissors for cutting out your templates, and this bowl is for pouring some of my glue into. We're going to mix a little bit of water with the glue so that it's a little bit thinner solution when we're making our stars, so that's coming up. Alright, we are going to start out. Step 1, get your template ready. So I just need one of these stars, and I'll put the other one off to the side. You don't need to use a template, like I said. You could draw your own star, or just use your push pins in such a way that you have a star shape on whatever you're sticking them into. Keep that shape in your mind. I'm going to use a template just because that's going to be easier for you all to see what I'm doing. Okay, got our star template. This is going to show up nice on my foam, so I'm going to tack that down there. And first I'm going to put a sheet of plastic wrap over that so nothing sticks to it. Now, just at the points of the stars where I'm going to stick the push pins in. Ooh, that made a nice noise. Okay, and I'm just going to fold the plastic wrap underneath so that it's out of the way for the most part. Then we can get our glue ready. It could take a long while for me to manually squeeze it out, so I'm going to take the top off and just try and pour it. Blort, blort. Okay, that's probably good to start with. The amount of string or twine that you're going to need is going to depend on how big your star is. So you could measure out maybe 6.5 feet to begin with, and then see where that gets you, and you can always add more if you need it, or cut it off and have less. I'm going to add a little bit of water to this just so that it's a little thinner, so I'll be right back. Okay, so my glue has maybe a couple of teaspoons of water in it, and you can just mix that up with your finger. I also cut a length of twine that was about 6 feet long to start my star shape. And the first thing we're going to do is just lay down the outline of the star. So if you, with our string, we're going to get our string nice and wet with the glue. So you don't have to do the whole thing all at the same time. You can coat it as you go, but I'm going to do a bit. Maybe I will do the whole thing. This is where things can get messy, so you can put your string in your bowl with your glue and just start getting it saturated. Make sure to protect your work surface. I have a little cloth down here, and my glue is washable, so it will come out of anything I happen to get it on with a little soap and water. Don't use super glue for this project. You can use other kinds of glue, clear glue, tacky glue. You might even try liquid starch if you have that instead of glue. Okay, so my string is pretty well coated, and I can move my glue off to the side a little bit. And then pretend that you are drawing a star. And I just kind of wrapped one end around that push pin. So we're making a little triangle and then coming across this way and then completing it like that. So if you were drawing a star, it would look something like that. And we're going to do that again. Around all the push pins. And this is our star shape base. So we're going to be doing other wrapping around the star once it is dry to give it more of a three-dimensional quality. And you can just stick these ends into that body of the star. So that part doesn't take too long. Now this is going to need to dry probably for an hour or so. And then we'll come back to it and take a look at it, and maybe we'll want to make it a little thicker, or maybe we'll be ready to start wrapping around and making it plumper. I'm just making sure that all of the threads or the twine is connecting to the pieces below so that it stays in one shape. And you can come back over if you feel like it's dry. You can come back over and paint over it with your extra glue. Since I have leftover glue too in my bowl, I'm just going to cover the bowl with some plastic wrap, the top of it, so that I can keep using this glue later on and it doesn't get dry while I'm waiting for the star to dry. Okay, we're good. So pause for a minute, go have lunch or a snack or read, and we'll come back as soon as our stars are dry. We've had some drying time, and I got a little bit impatient, so I speeded my drying time along by using a hair dryer on my star, and that helped a lot. I don't recommend using a hot setting, but if you have a cool setting or a warm setting on your hair dryer, that works just fine to help things dry out, or if you have just like a fan, that can speed things up a little bit too. So once your star is dry, you can take out your push pins and carefully peel it off the plastic wrap if it's stuck to that. And mine is pretty stiff, so I think I'm happy with that. If yours is still a little bit floppier than you would like it to be, you can go over it with some more glue. You can just tack it down again when you're finished to help hold the shape, and just add some more glue to it, and that should help get it a little bit more firm. So for the next part, you need another length of string because we're going to start wrapping it creatively around the frame here, however you would like to do that. And you're going to get it wet with the glue mixture like we did before. I cut off a 6-foot piece of string, so we'll see how long that lasts me. I'm just going to unseal my glue here and saturate my string in the glue mixture. And you can save the plastic wrap star template that you have underneath this for now, because you're going to want someplace to rest this while it's drying after you wrap it with this length of string. And then once this part is done, if you decide that you need more layers, you can cut more string and use more glue and wrap it as much as you want to get the 3D effect that you want. So here we go. You can just, I like a few twists around the arms of the star. This is the first one of these that I'm making, but I'm very excited about how it's turning out so far. So that's gone pretty fast with 6 feet of twine. And I think I probably am going to want to put on another piece after that's dry, just to get it a little bit fatter. But for now, I'm going to let this dry, and once again, if you're impatient, go ahead and use a fan or a hairdryer to speed things along. Once your star is dry, I did end up putting another layer of string around it, or twine. But once it's completely dry and you're happy with how it looks, you can add a piece of yarn or a piece of string or an ornament holder to it so that you can hang it up. So I'm just going to pass a loop of this string or this yarn through it and then tighten it up like that so that I have a little place to hang it, and I'll just tie a little knot here in the top, and then I can hang this from whatever. If you make a bunch of these, you could make a garland out of them. If you want to further embellish them and you are allowed to use glitter in your household, you could add some more glue and then sprinkle some glitter on, or if you have glitter glue, you could just paint that on top of it. I kind of like the rustic look, so I'm not going to change mine. Probably glitter nail polish would work too. That might be a slightly neater option. So those are some other ideas. You could also use different colors of string or yarn when you're making these, so they don't have to be just one color, they could be multiple colors. So it's kind of up to you. You can go crazy and create all kinds of interesting looking stars. Thanks for joining me on 12 Days of Crafting. I hope you had fun making our string stars. Mine turned out great. I'm really looking forward to hanging it up somewhere. We'll see where. For more fun ideas and other videos from 12 Days of Crafting, please check out our website, www.huntleylibrary.org. We'll see you next time.